Now then, this year, as I've been saying to you, British Greyhound Racing is celebrating its 50th birthday. And I told you before, it all began on this very track here at Bellevue, Manchester. And it's grown into a sport now that attracts 6 million spectators a year. And believe it or not, more than £500 million a year is bet on the dogs. Well, clearly to a lot of people, Greyhound Racing is something rather special.
Cleat time, please!
The scene's colourful, it's easy to bet. The races don't take too long to come round. The form's wide open for all to see. And the dogs, when they race, move gracefully and very fast, almost 40 miles an hour. They chase by sight, not scent. The most famous greyhound of all died nearly 40 years ago. Yet Mick the Miller, kennelled forever in the Natural History Museum, is still revered. He was bred by a priest in Ireland, but won his fame in Britain. Mick was, and still is, a legend. He won 2 derbies and in 1930 a record 19 races in succession. Mick was said to be able to pick his way through any race. He was bought by Mrs. Arundel Kempton for the then huge sum of £2,000 and trained by Sidney Orton at Wimbledon. Now in his 80s, Orton still fondly recalls Mick the Miller's intelligence.
Yes, I think he was one of the greatest greyhounds that ever lived. Not only was he a good racing dog, but he was a darned friendly dog.
People used to say that he was almost human, the way he thought about his races. Do you believe that?
I think, yes. I've got a picture of him and Golden Miller, and when I look at those, the intelligence in those 2 heads is wonderful.
Because you've had a lot of very famous dogs, apart from Mick the Miller.
Yes.
Now one that I can remember was a dog called Ballynenan Moon.
Yes. I think if it hadn't been for the war, Ballynenan Moon would have had a greater reputation than Mick the Miller, because in my opinion, he was the greatest I've seen.
It all began with Charlie Munn, an American, and Brigadier Critchley, a Canadian. Munn introduced the electric hare, Critchley the know-how. A.C. Critchley, MP, amateur golfer, impresario, was the father of British Greyhound Racing. He knew that Lancashire was fond of whippet racing, so he chose Bellevue, Manchester, for the first meeting in July 1926. About 2,000 people came along, and they saw a dog with only half a tail, Mistley, win that first ever race. Timing was crude in fifths of a second. Today, it's hundredths. Where did they find their dogs in those early days? The answer, from the coursing field. Sidney Orton, then a young farmer in Norfolk, was in on it, and a nice little business it was.
We were selling them greyhounds at £10 each to run, and we went up there when it opened.
So in 1926, when Bellevue opened,
yes,
and greyhound racing started in this country, you were actually selling them greyhounds for £10 a time, were you?
£10 a time.
So you've been in it right from the start.
We were getting rich.
Critchley was getting rich too. The sport flourished, despite opposition from the church, the breweries and the cinemas. At Bellevue, crowds grew to 30,000 a night. Critchley even started racing cheetahs, the fastest animals alive, but unlike Critchley, they weren't too keen. In 1927, Critchley rebuilt London's White City and started racing there to a first-night crowd of 25,000. Soon they were averaging 50,000. The first winner was a dog called Charlie Cranston. Today he's buried at Bellevue. And in 1927, the Prince of Wales gave the sport royal approval. Today, greyhound racing is the second largest spectator sport in Britain, second only to soccer. Last year, more than 6 million people paid to watch it on the 48 tracks licensed by the National Greyhound Racing Club. There are more than 20,000 greyhounds registered and many thousands of owners. Last year, the totalisated turnover at greyhound tracks in Britain came to almost £70 million. Another 90 million passes through the bookies at the tracks, but there's no betting levy such as horse racing gets. It's a sore point. In all, the greyhound betting market's thought to be worth £500 million a year. It's just as well the photo finish settles all arguments. Greyhound racing installed it in 1945, about 2 years before horse racing. Most dogs are trained by the tracks themselves and arrive from the track's own kennels. But there are private professional trainers, and some owners do it themselves. Most races feature a track's own dogs, but there are also open races, like tonight's television trophy. Security is strict. Doping scares today are rare. If a dog's weight varies by more than about 2 pounds from meeting to meeting, he's withdrawn from racing. Dogs can weigh anything from about 48 pounds to over 80. Tracks have their own vets and each dog its own identity card with even its toenail markings. Special labs carry out chromatography tests as an anti-doping measure.
At 200 guineas is there 10 again. At 200 guineas, 200 guineas for the first time. Look sharp if you want this good one at 200 guineas. May I say 10 again?
Most racing greyhounds come from Ireland and can be bought at auction. You could pay £100 or £1,000. You could have a star or a stumblebum. There are no guaranteed winners.
Trial number 22.
Claire Orton is the son of Mick the Miller's old trainer. What would it cost to have him train for you?
At Wimbledon, the training charges are 95 per day. About just under £7 per week. Training. This includes training fees, feeding fees, veterinary fees, transport to and from Wimbledon. Open races, of course, are additional charges.
And out of that, any prize money the dog won would be mine, would
It's
it?
yours, yes. Yes, is credited to you as the owner.
So compared with, well, obviously compared with a thing like horse racing, I mean, it's not that expensive. It's much more a democratic way of owning an animal,
Yes,
isn't it?
we have a lot of people from the horse racing fraternity are turning to greyhounds because it doesn't consume so much of their time. Greyhound racing is basically evenings, where horse racing means taking a day off. And in these days, most people can't afford to time as much as finance anyway.
Do you just let a dog race at its natural speed, or are there ways of making them go a bit faster?
A dog will race at his natural speed. I mean, a fast greyhound is born. You can't make a greyhound basically go faster than it's capable of doing. Rather like an athlete, you've got your top-class athletes, and physical fitness is the key. Psychological and physical fitness is the basic. You can perhaps add a little bit of speed with physical fitness, but not you can't make a slow greyhound go particularly faster than it's capable of doing.
The 1965 Derby at the White City, London, produced the perfect example of a greyhound that was bought for a song and then took the biggest prize of all. In trap 6 in this final is Chittering Clapton, English bred, 2 years old, and bought as a pup for a mere £25.
And away they go, and it's number 4 and number 6 Chittering Clapton on the outside. Goes to the lead round the first bend from Craig and Bush. And it's Chittering Clapton skittering round on the outside, and he's cleared the first bend with Sunbow now in second place, then Flash Solar some way back. It's number 6, the cheapest dog in the race, Chittering Clapton, now being chased by Sunbow that so many people fancy, and Sunbow is gaining a little, coming around the last 2 bends, and Shy Prayer is right there in third place, but it looks as though Chittering Clapton in number 6 is going to get there, and it has. It's Chittering Clapton from Sunbow.
Chittering Clapton, cost £25, Derby prize £5,000, a dream dog. Another dream dog was West Park Mustard, although she cost £2,500. In 1974, she broke Mick the Miller's record of 19 consecutive wins, which had stood for over 40 years. I asked Sydney Orton how she compared with Mick.
Oh, she's a great bitch. There's no question in my mind about that at all. But she wasn't running in the same class. You see, the thing was that Mick did his record in classic races and open races. And it was done in a matter of weeks. Well, I mean, she was once... They nursed her through the races, but there's no question in mind. She's a great greyhound. And it's a wonderful performance, but they nursed her for it.
You too can be nursed at a greyhound meeting. You can dine out in style, and somebody will even come along and put your bets on for you. You can lose your money in luxury. But after 50 years, the sport itself prefers to remain optimistic.
I think greyhound racing's got a great future. It's, at the present moment, it appears to be on the upsurge, and I can see no reason why, with the facilities that are offered to the general public, and most stadiums are still improving their facilities, that it will have a continued boom. We hope so, anyway.